All right, what's up, gentlemen? Welcome to Biology is the Secret series, episode 1. The series is going to be all about understanding your biology so that you can leverage it to achieve better results, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. Understanding your biology is going to be a key mechanism in doing that because your biology will control how you move throughout your life, how easy it is for you to do the tasks that you need to do to see results, and how much friction you will experience in doing so, right? If you can master your biology, it's going to become very, very easy for you to see the results that you want to see in your life. But first you have to understand it, right? So for me personally, I was able to make a drastic physical change in my life, right? I was able to completely restructure my face. I was able to build a very impressive physique for myself. A big part of that being my posture, right? Your posture is essential when it comes to having an aesthetic physique. It gives you much more attractive proportions, makes your waist smaller, shoulders broader, etc. You can see the change there for yourself, right? And then of course the big one is I was able to develop my jawline, all right? I was able to, raise my cheekbones, get more forward projection in my jaw, and really change my facial structure to make it more attractive. Now, I was able to achieve these results with no peptides, with no steroids, and really no supplement usage at all. Full transparency, I do use collagen from time to time, but supplements are absolutely not necessary for seeing results. In fact, they can be detrimental for the vast majority of supplements, right? Now, what do I actually mean when I'm talking about my natural biology, right? You might be asking that question, okay? Your natural biology is the basis of who you are. It is the subconscious operating system that you have evolved over thousands of years. Your biology controls your internal state, and that state determines how you look, how you feel, and it influences the decisions you make, sometimes without even realizing it. Now, something that I have to make sure is clear to you here is a key understanding. When I say subconscious, this means completely void of logic or reasoning. Okay, so there are certain inputs that you can give your body where to you it makes sense, right? I know what this is. This is good for me. But your subconscious systems, they don't have reasoning or logic. They understand, is this safe or is this a threat? Okay, now imagine this. Let's pretend you're an immortal being, right? And you've had a friend for 2,000 years. You know him very, very well. He comes into your house uninvited. You might be a little bit like, yo, what's up? But overall, you're gonna be like, okay, I know this guy, I trust this guy, he's not a threat to me, all right? And that's how it is for anything that aligns with your biology, right? Let's use holistic foods for an example. We've been eating red meat and we've been eating fruit for thousands of years, meaning our body processes it extremely effectively, it recognizes it, and we utilize it very, very well. Now let's take another example of an Oreo. Again, logically to you, you're like, this is an Oreo. This is like maybe not great for me, but it ain't gonna kill me, okay? Your system doesn't recognize an Oreo. It doesn't recognize the preservatives or the additives that have been added to the Oreo to keep it, on the shelf a little bit longer, right? So when that comes into your system, your body doesn't have any knowledge of it and it goes, yo, that's a threat. We need to attack this. This is why we get inflamed. This is why we get bloated when we eat processed foods or foods with seed oils, all right? So that's just a little bit of an explanation there. Now there is a two-part trap that people fall into that sabotages their life and their results, okay? The first part is environmental sabotage, right? They environmentally sabotage their biology with inputs the body recognizes as threats, right? Same example that I just gave, but a couple more would be something like a pre-workout. Again, to you, a pre-workout is gonna help you out. It's gonna give you a better workout. It's gonna give you more energy. But there are things in pre-workouts that your body does not recognize on a biological level, perceives it as a threat. You're going to get watery, you're going to get bloated, you're going to get anxious when you take it, right? I think most people have experienced that, okay? Now, the solution, right, to then, environmentally sabotaging yourself is then you try to chemically override your biology with inputs that mask and inevitably exacerbate the problem, right? So again, let's say, for example, we take pre-workout every single day before we go to the gym, okay? Eventually we get to a point where maybe we ran out of our tub of pre-workout and we think, damn, I can't even go to the gym because I don't have pre-workout. I need my pre, right? Say for example, again, we can't sleep because we're so jacked up on pre-workout, so we start taking melatonin every night. Now we run out of melatonin, we're laying in bed and we have become dependent on these things, right? And this is the two-part problem of how people sabotage themselves. They take something that isn't, great for their biology, and then they make the problem worse with other things that, don't support their biology as well. Okay, and it becomes this really, really negative cycle that leads to you, having to buy more pre-workout, being dependent on these things, and in the long run, it costs you, all right? Now, how does it cost you? The results of running that two-part trap is that you're going to have a dysregulated nervous system. You're going to have poor gut health and you're going to have poor hormonal health, right? So, a dysregulated nervous system is going to increase your anxiety. It's going to make you more irritable, right? It's going to lead to poor sleep, low libido, procrastination, and avoidance. A lot of the time, you're not lazy. You are just procrastinating because your nervous system is dysregulated. It doesn't feel safe, and so it wants to seek comfort. You don't find comfort in pursuing your goals. Oftentimes, you feel comfort in procrastinating, sitting on the couch, scrolling on your phone, because that is safe to your nervous system, right? And again, that nervous system is completely illogical, right? And then impulsive coping, this is always going to be the biggest one. Again, I just kind of mentioned it. Scrolling on your phone, watching porn, smoking weed, even though you've been wanting to quit, drinking alcohol, right? Poor gut health, this is going to be another problem, all right? This is going to lead to bloating, constipation, stomach aches, acne, inflammation or puffiness, especially in the face. Okay, poor nutrient absorption. This is huge. This is why another reason why gut health is so important. Even if you hit your protein goals, okay, if you are in a position where your gut health is not optimal, then you're not even going to absorb that protein fully, and it's going to go to waste anyway. So it's super important that you have your gut on lock, right? And then the final piece is going to be poor hormonal health, right? Low energy, low motivation or drive, maybe some difficulty building muscle or losing fat, water retention, low confidence, or this overall flat feeling where you just don't want to be social. You don't want to talk to people. You don't want to just put your hood up, put some headphones in, everybody leave me alone. Okay, and sleep issues, waking up in the morning, especially early, a lot of times is due to poor hormonal health. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself a very genuine question. Be realistic with yourself right now, okay? How many of these problems do you experience on a regular basis? Right? And for the vast majority of people, the answer is going to be something along the lines of, damn, low key, pretty much all of those. Those sound like me, to a T, right? And that is by design. All right. Now, we live in a capitalistic society. I'm all for capitalism. I love making bread. I think everybody should pursue something that's going to make them a lot of money so they can provide for their families and, live the life that they want to live, have those specific freedoms and be able to afford those experiences. But, right, there is a downside to living in a capitalistic society, which means that you are going to be preyed on in certain ways. They want to make you dependent on certain things so that you have to, give bread to the system, okay? And again, no problem with that, but if you're completely unaware and you're naive to it, you're setting your life up for failure. You're setting yourself up to never be able to reach your dreams and your goals and instead stay in this loop because you're forever dependent on things that will eat away at your pockets, right? And I'm gonna dive into that. So what I call this is I call this the industry ladder. Wow. All right, I call this the industry ladder. All right. Now it starts with processed food and drink industry. All right. This is the cause. This is where damage starts. Processed food and drinks. You eat them. This causes inflammation, insulin resistance, gut dysfunction, hormone disruption, addictions and cravings in your nervous system to be all kinds of chaotic. Now, obviously, you experience these and you don't like how they feel, right? You're like, yeah, this is not the move. All right, so I need to do something about it. So what is the cheapest thing for you to look at? What is going to be the easiest quote unquote fix? It's going to be to put a Band-Aid on. And this is where you're going to turn to the supplement and wellness industry. All right, now this is going to be the first attempt to fix those systems without actually addressing the root cause. All right, this is where, again, pre-workout, fat burners, test boosters, and nootropics, they all come in to pick you up now that you have fallen. Okay, right? Again, you feel like shit because you ate a bunch of bad food the night before. You didn't get very good sleep. So you think, damn, I need some pre-workout. I have to rip the pre. Okay, now, boom, you become dependent on that pre-workout. Right? You get really, really poor sleep. Your testosterone's down. You don't feel good. So you think, damn, I need a test booster because that's going to build me more muscle, right? Everybody's had that thought before. Oh, just let me pop a test booster real quick so I can build more muscle. Not going to help you out, straight up, all right? And this is where we put that Band-Aid on, right? Now, the thing that is starting to worry me about the health and fitness industry is that we are now making our way collectively as a group down the industry ladder and into the clinics and health industry, okay? And this is where we've given up on the Band-Aid, and now we are chemically overriding our systems purposefully so that we can achieve the specific results that we are after without, again, ever addressing the root cause and problem, right? Because this is a fast, easy solution. All right, and now once we've bled through that Band-Aid, people naturally escalate to fix the problem. This is where TRT clinics, peptide clinics is such a huge trend right now, and it's whack as hell. Okay, peptides are so stupid. GLP-1 weight loss supplements are the only thing stupider than peptides. Okay, and of course those clinics come in and they say, hey, we have the solution for you, right? Just come take this injection, pop this pilly, and we're all good to go. Just chemically override your system. But unfortunately, what that is going to lead you down is that final step where you get into the pharmaceutical industry. Because those issues, those root problems never get solved, now you end up, towards the later ladder of your life, if you're lucky, right? But obviously you see this in especially the bodybuilding industry because they go down the ladder so much faster. Now they're on blood pressure medications. Now they're on sleep meds, all right? And then when it comes to TRT specifically, something that you now have to do for the rest of your life because you decided that you're going to take TRT and you are living in the lifelong dependency area and they get to profit off of you forever, right? Lifetime value. You are, made a rat in the system. You're going to run the wheel for the rest of your life. It's going to eat through your pockets. How hard is it going to be for you to get to your goals and to achieve the things that you want to achieve when you have something constantly burning your pocket that you never needed in the first place, all right? Now, how do we actually avoid falling down the industry ladder? Well, genuinely, it's very, very simple. I'm going to give you a couple examples, and you're going to be like, wow, okay, this is not hard, all right? The first step is that we need to remove all inputs contributing to a dependency that goes against your natural biology. And step two is we need to add as many inputs as possible that align with your natural biology. So here's the example. Step one, stop investing in supplements. Might be a challenge at first. Yeah, you're going to be like, damn, but my pre though. And I get it because I also quit pre-workout about 2 years ago now. I haven't taken it since then. And my workouts are just as good, if not better, because now what I've done is I've taken all the money that I was investing into supplements and I began investing in higher quality food instead. I go to real butcher shops. Okay, I drink raw milk. I eat holistic foods. Okay, real fruits. I put honey. I put pink salt on them. Things that my body naturally recognizes, and your body will respond to those incredibly well because it's been doing it for thousands of years. Okay, so that is one example. Another one. That's going to be challenging for a lot of individuals. They're going to try and challenge me on this and they're going to think, maybe not, right? Stop relying on drugs and alcohol to regulate you. Learn to regulate your nervous system internally, whether that be meditating, praying, opening up the Bible, whatever it is, okay? Not relying on drugs or, again, alcohol to be something that gets you into a social state, but actually going out and being social sober, developing that confidence and those social skills and being able to regulate yourself in the moment by taking deep breaths, right? I still feel anxiety. I'll go out and I'll rizz up a shorty, right? I did it the other day, or about a month ago, I guess. I rizzed up a shorty. I went into a restaurant. She was a server. I was like, damn, she kind of bad, right? And I thought about talking to her and my heart started beating. I was like, whoa, we about to do this? This is risky. What if she rejects us? Okay, but I was able to then take some deep breaths, understand what was actually happening, that my biology was trying to keep me safe, and that I wouldn't actually die, right? Because that is the response. Our body literally thinks, hey, we're about to die. Social rejection equals death to our biology because thousands of years ago, if you were exiled, you were sent out into the wilderness, that equaled death, right? And that wiring is still in us, okay? Now, and again, if you're able to do that, overcome that anxiety every single time, it gets easier and easier because your body says, hey, guess what? We didn't die from that experience, okay? Sorry, that was long-winded, but it was important. All right, the next one, stop eating processed food and instead switch to a holistic diet that supports gut health instead. Stop using mostly machines at the gym and instead use more free weights and body weight movements that use natural movement patterns. I'm never saying don't ever use a machine, right? If you can, use it, one arm at a time. That's going to help a little bit, but don't, strictly hit machines because it's going to, take away from your stabilizing muscle. It's going to limit your natural movement patterns, and that's not going to be good for your posture. Okay, which leads me into stop living with poor posture, right? Go do things like sprints and do postural exercises to align your body. Sprinting is the oldest, most efficient workout a human being could do. It's the only workout that will correct your posture, help you build muscle, lose fat, and improve your cardiovascular all at the same time. If you sprint 2 to 3 times a week, that will be one of the best things you could possibly do for yourself, and it will also help you develop your facial structure. Again, as we go throughout this series, I will break everything down in detail, and facial development will be a part of it. All right, and then of course, stop using synthetic skincare. Okay, your skin is the largest organ on your body. What you put on your skin is absorbed, and some of it is going to be absorbed into your bloodstream. Okay, if you use CeraVe lotion and it's got xenoestrogen in it, That stuff's going to absorb into your body. It's going to convert into estrogen. It's going to mess up your hormones. Okay, but if you instead use a natural skincare, right? You use organic beef tallow as a moisturizer. I know it sounds weird, but it's super effective, right? You use cold press rosehip oil, or you use something like I do where I make my own actual face wash using manuka honey, aloe vera gel, and jojoba oil. You will be much better off. Your body recognizes all of those things, and it actually feeds your skin and makes it look a lot better, right? Instead of being something that, again, negatively affects your skin and your hormones, right? Because what comes out of your skin is a reflection of what's going on internally. All right, now the results, if you can do all of that, you're going to have increased muscle mass and density, improved blood flow and vascularity, a naturally lower body fat and tighter skin. Your hair or your facial hair will grow in denser, and your skin will be clear with a naturally healthy glow, etc., etc. I'm not going to read all those. I'll zoom in if you want to read a couple more of them, right? But I've been talking for now 15, 16 minutes, so I'm about done, right? But again, these are what my befores look like, okay? This is what it looks like to live against your natural biology, and this is what it looks like to live in alignment with your natural biology, right? Now, obviously, I'm throwing a lot at you. I hope you guys follow this series because it's going to be very, very informative, and it's going to help you get your body into full, proper alignment. Now, if you have any questions, in the description, I'm going to link my Instagram. Please send me a DM on Instagram with questions. I'd love to answer them with you, talk to you about this, help you out through this process. All right, if you'd like to skip that and go straight to just booking a call so we can talk face-to-face like this, there will also be a link to book a call. Book a call with me. We can talk in detail about how I can help you out with all these different things. All right, but again, tune in for the series. It's going to be a good one.